Have you ever walked past a portrait in a gallery and felt as though the figure in the painting was quietly watching you, their gaze tracking your every step? This phenomenon, often described as the Mona Lisa effect, is both fascinating and a little eerie. But despite how magical it feels, the reason behind it lies in the basic science of perspective, light, and how our brains interpret two-dimensional images. A painting is, at its core, a completely flat surface. Unlike a real person, whose eyes and head occupy three-dimensional space and change appearance when you move around them, the details in a painting do not shift. The shadows, highlights, and angles remain frozen, no matter where the observer stands. Because of this, the spatial cues your eyes rely on to detect depth and direction are missing. Now, when an artist paints a face, looking straight ahead, meaning the pupils are centered and aligned as if the subject is staring directly forward, the geometry of the image creates an illusion. Your brain interprets the direction of the gaze as constant. Whether you are standing to the left, to the right, or even crouching slightly, the eyes seem to be pointed right at you. The light and shadows on the face don't adjust as they would in reality, so your mind assumes the figure's gaze hasn't changed even though you have moved. This is why the effect works only with a flat image, since the portrait is two-dimensional. There is no real perspective shift to break the illusion. Interestingly, this effect disappears the moment the subject's eyes are painted to look even slightly to the side. If the artist deliberately turns the gaze away, perhaps to the left or upward, your brain immediately registers the difference. As you move around, it becomes obvious that the figure is looking elsewhere, and the uncanny sense of being watched fades. The illusion depends entirely on the precise alignment of the pupils and the way the artist captures the forward-facing look. Artists throughout history have sometimes used this effect to their advantage. Renaissance painters, for example, were masters of perspective and often painted eyes with subtle symmetry to draw viewers into the composition. This creates a feeling of intimacy or even quiet confrontation, making the subject seem alive. In some religious paintings, the gaze is designed to evoke spiritual presence, as if a saint or deity is watching over the faithful from every angle. Modern science explains it in terms of gaze perception, the brain's instinct to detect when someone is looking directly at us, a survival mechanism developed over millennia. Our eyes are highly sensitive to the position of pupils, and we are wired to respond to direct eye contact, even if it's only a painted illusion. So the next time you find yourself in a museum, and a portrait seems to follow you with its unblinking stare, remember, the figure isn't moving at all. It's the unchanging perspective of the painting and the cleverness of the artist that tricks your mind into believing that the eyes are alive and watching.